Hi, Ed. You're early.
Hey now. That's for a different Zoom meeting.
Oh, don't go there. Hey, Carl, it's you're one of the few people brave enough to put video on.
Oh, that's okay. You wanna look at this face, you're brave. How many people are attending?
Let's see. Right now, right now there's 10 on. I think it was close to 45 who registered. So,
I'm seeing 15 from here, Barry.
Oh yeah, okay.
Including you and me.
Well, I only have 10 fingers to count with, so.
I just wanted to add something in for everybody working on Zoom. If you notice, everybody's sitting in an office, a room, a kitchen, etc. I started teaching just recently with dropping a blue-green sheet behind me. And then by clicking on the green screen, you can upload and put any background behind you that you want.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's the coolest thing.
Yeah. I've done that without the green screen, and it gets really hazy around.
Yeah,
Right.
same here.
Get
And
that
don't-
angelic look.
I'm using a green screen right now. I'm actually on the beach in the Caribbean.
Take out.
That's great.
Yeah, watch
That's
out. Don't let one of
great.
those coconuts hit you in the head.
Yeah. Hey, Barry, have you
Yeah.
been?
Been good. Been
Good.
good. It's been it's been interesting, let's say that.
Yeah, you look good. Good. What piece of woods did you walk in across from you? Across from your place?
Rancocas Woods in Mount Laurel. That's one of the reasons we bought this house. We're right across the street from the entrance where they do have baseball fields for girls, soft pitch, fast pitch, and then there's a state forest all adjacent to it, and the lower looks the river. So it's pretty
Good for
cool.
you. Good for you.
Nice, very nice.
So I think we should get started. Anthony, I don't know if you were able to get the mic to work. It doesn't look like it, but
Is there any way you can do that for him, Barry?
yeah, true.
He's saying no.
No?
You might have an unmute for him, Barry. You usually have the controls up there.
Yeah.
You can also tell him to log out and
Relog.
log back in and select computer audio when he does.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We got a Zoom master online here.
Let me see here. Let me
We can
go.
give him a second. We're in no rush. I'm not, at least.
Yeah, somehow that's not working for me. I can ask him to unmute, but it's not working.
Yeah. He's trying to switch computers.
Yeah.
That could be it too.
So I started off earlier, what we did with the NJNLA yesterday, and Rick McCoy just signed on. He was part of that too. He did a great talk on the native plants that he's using in landscapes. So without any objections, we're 7 minutes into the thing. So why don't we just get started? You know, I'll just introduce myself for those of you who don't really know me. I founded Tech Terra about 15 years ago as an application business. I had been introduced to compost teas and did some studying under Elaine Ingham and the Soil Food Web, and actually went to work for the original Tech Terra, learned how to do it and everything, and then I decided to make a move, and I was able to buy them out. And we started just by doing compost tea applications to trees and turf. And with that, we were able to find out and connect with a lot of different manufacturers of eco-friendly products. And I guess about 2 years of doing the applications, we made the move to become distributors for a lot of different products. So we're basically a one-stop shop for eco-friendly products. And you know, we've done a lot of work as far as trying to educate people on how they can use these products properly. And that's why we have Eric Maurer with us today. He's with Fiesta, which has been around for quite a while. And I'm just going to hand it over to Eric now.
Thanks,
Cool.
Barry. I appreciate it. And yeah, hi, everybody. My name is Eric Maurer with Neudorff, the manufacturer of Fiesta. And actually launched Fiesta in the US about 10 years ago, and proud to say that Barry was my very first customer. So yes, Barry is ahead of his time in many more ways than in this business, for sure. We all know that, him to be such just an exceptional guy, and really appreciate our friendship and relationship. So on that note, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen if Barry will let me. And I'm just going to run through some thoughts on Fiesta. Some thoughts on Fiesta. Go ahead, Barry, sorry.
This worked yesterday, but I'm having trouble sharing your screen.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to share some thoughts on Fiesta, a little bit on biopesticides in general, a little bit on Neudorff, just so you know that we're not just some flash in the pan company. As I said, we launched Fiesta in the US about 11 years, 10, 11 years ago, but it's been used in Canada for longer than that. Let me just try to share it again. No. But what's most important here I think for all of us, or all of you on the screen here, is to have your questions answered regarding Fiesta, you know, rather than me spew a bunch of information. You guys aren't new to this product, very likely, and you have some experiences with it, positive or negative, and I'd like to hear both. To be honest, nearly all negative experiences, we've been able to figure out why it didn't work. There's no silver bullet, and Fiesta certainly isn't a silver bullet, but it is another option. And we feel that Fiesta is unique in this category in that it's really one of the more accountable herbicides on the softer chemistry scale that we can rely on, especially in areas that have legislative restrictions, but also for those end users that desire softer chemistry or a softer lawn care program. Yeah, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Well, I don't know how to fix that.
Well, you know what I can do? What I'll do here is just in the interest of kind of going through this, I'll kind of go through a little bit about, well, I think you guys can all realize that or understand that Neudorff USA, we've been around for about 160 years, manufacturing facilities in Germany and in the US. And those German characteristics of technology and formulation excellence comes through in our products. We have a global presence in the EU, UK, the Americas, and North America and Canada. I represent half of the US. Let me see if I can try it now. Aha, here we go.
Yeah, I just made you host.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go here. Okay, you guys see that?
Yeah.
Excelente. So I was just talking about 160 years of experience, global presence, and you know it's really a fantastic company to work for. We're very innovative. We do things the right way. We're very lean and mean, as most companies are these days. We kind of have to be. We all wear a lot of hats. And I was mentioning I'm half of the business in the United States. We do work directly through distribution in the ag market, primarily through Certis, and in the nursery and greenhouse market, primarily through OHP. We also have products in that but we do go direct in the PCO market, pest control market, mostly ant control products with our Antix line. Maybe some of you have heard of Antix Plus. And we also work directly in the lawn care markets as well. Product categories, you know, we work in all product categories. We have about 50 EPA registrations, but all focusing on softer chemistry biopesticides. And this is not just lately. This is since the inception of Neudorff in Germany, which means new town in German. So speaking of biopesticides, biopesticides have long had they have an odd history, right? Because there was a long period of there where they just didn't work. and even when they did work, you know, there was that transition to they were just too darn expensive. And, you know, even though it was good to have green products, it was just cost too much green to utilize and to be practical in the marketplace. And really, people didn't really understand what biopesticides were. So it was difficult to manage expectations on that note. Just so you know, Barry, I'm also having to admit people because I'm the host, so I'm just letting you know that.
Okay, thanks.
So if I do a pause, that's why I'm letting somebody in. There's obvious reasons to use biopesticides. You guys wouldn't be here on this Zoom meeting or know Barry if you didn't understand why we should use biopesticides. They're more environmentally safe. With resistance management concerns, they're a lot safer for the workers to apply. And let's just, you know, there's a public perception on biopesticides. You throw the word bio in front of anything, you know, it's going to have marketing value. But in this case, it really does mean softer chemistry. At least that's my opinion. And we are in a position now, thanks to demand and thanks to manufacturing and formulation chemistry, developing efficacious formulations, efficacious products, and able to do that in a cost-effective manner. There's just a little bit on what the market looks like for biopesticides. You're looking at around $100 million, maybe 20 years ago, and it's increased to $4 billion now. It's been dramatic growth for biologicals, biological pesticides, and that's only going to grow. In fact, I think that $4 billion is a very conservative estimate. So the market is there, the demand is there, but it's up to me and it's up to you guys to educate the end user, which does take time. I understand that, you know, a lot of these pesticides undergo organic growth, and there's no pun intended there, but it is a slow growth. It is a slow process, but we are still ahead of the curve on the demand for these types of products. And you're even seeing it clearly seeing it in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, how the demand for these products has increased over the last 1 to 5, 10 years. So today we're going to talk about Fiesta. So as I said earlier, please ask questions as we're going through. Either just use the chat button, and Barry, you can monitor that, right? You can?
Yep.
Okay. So just go ahead and use the chat button because I don't see it because I have a full screen up. So in case you do have a question, please raise your hand or just pop right in or yell out loud. That works too. That always works too. So it's, what is Fiesta? Well, it's evolved. It's evolved over time. We have some exciting data to share with you tonight. Some exciting label expansion that we're able to share with you, and that's a pre-emergent control of smooth crabgrass. You guys typically know it as a post-emergent broadleaf weed control. Works fast, works in a broad range of temperatures, and we're going to get through those benefits in a second, but we are going to focus a little bit on the pre-emergent control of smooth crabgrass as well, which is something that's probably new to most of you. It kills weeds, not turf. It is selective, and it is allowed for use in Montgomery County, Maryland, I should say. As most of you probably know, Montgomery County is the largest municipality in the United States that has undergone a legislative restriction on the use of pesticides for cosmetic purposes. But they are allowing the use of Fiesta for broadleaf weed control. This is what you've typically seen if you've got a jug in your shed. So what I'm going to show here, you guys, maybe you've seen it, is a 24-hour time lapse, only takes 30 seconds, a 24-hour time lapse video of Fiesta after it's applied to a dandelion. And before I hit play, and I can always hit play twice, is a couple things, a couple take home here is how fast it works, what happens to the weed when it dies, and that it doesn't affect the turf grass. Now, this can also be found on YouTube. So from a managing expectation standpoint to your customers, you can show them this and say, okay, this is what you can expect. This is what's going to happen after I apply Fiesta. So it's a great tool for managing expectations for your customers. And it's also what I stated earlier, what I think is really, really important is what happens to that weed as it dies. It just turns it black, and it does not affect the turf grass. I think is also very important. And again, that can be found on YouTube. Just Google YouTube Fiesta or type in Fiesta in the search when you're in YouTube. Fiesta herbicide, or you'll come up with the Ford Fiesta, most cases. So it is a selective bioherbicide. So it is not an OMRI listed product. It is not organic listed product. It is an EPA registered bioherbicide though. It was registered by EPA's Bio Pesticide division. It did not go through the traditional registration division for the initial registration. So it has an EPA number. I know that can be a bummer up in some areas in the Northeast, but for other areas that have pesticide restrictions in place. But just to be clear, it's not OMRI listed, but it is an EPA registered bioherbicide. Kills broadleaf weeds, moss and algae and turf. And we do have pre-emergent control of smooth crabgrass. The active ingredient is iron chelate, iron HEDTA. And really what that really means, well, I'll get that to in the next slide, but it is iron. You know, iron is the fourth most common element found in soil. It does not accumulate in soil. There's no concerns associated with iron toxicity in the soil. It's very important to note. And you can use it, it's got a very broad label. You can use it anywhere there's turf. So how does Fiesta work? So we talked about iron chelation. The iron is bound to that chelating agent, which keeps it soluble and readily available. It is a patented formulation, okay? It's patented for selectivity in that it will, again, kills the weeds, doesn't harm the turf. And it's also for, patented, the formulation is patented for speed of absorption. So it absorbs it very, very quickly. Those are that's what the patent is based on.
Eric, I'm just going to tell everybody, keep putting your chats in and we'll get to your questions a little bit later on. I want to have Eric go through his presentation, then we'll address your questions. But I do have a question. Can you describe what bioherbicide means?
Yes, I can. So EPA's definition is it has to meet 3 criteria. It has to have a non-toxic mode of action. It has to only kill the targeted plant, and has to have no harm to the environment or human health when used as directed.
Thank you.
That, if it meets those criteria, it will go through the biopesticide division at EPA. So this leads to cellular, so when the application of Fiesta causes cell necrosis, it disables the plant cell's ability to breathe, chokes it to death. It really is giving a plant, a weed, too much of a good thing. It's overdosing on iron. As you know, iron is a component in most fertilizers, right? We're just giving it in huge doses, which causes death. So because Fiesta is not OMRI listed, okay, we kind of have to, that kind of is checks the box for organic use. Now, as you know, I'm not going to get into too much detail here, but there really is no standard for non-agricultural organic listed products. The standard we are utilizing is for agriculture. That being said, what I'd like to show you here is that Fiesta is non-toxic. Okay, the EPA has determined that that Fiesta is in toxicity category 4. It carries a caution signal word, and that is the lowest toxicity category EPA can identify. Okay, greater than 5,000. As soon as it's greater than 5,000, they don't get any lower than that. Lower than that, a higher number means it's less toxic. So you can see other substances, other common substances, even the caffeine you had in your coffee this morning, and the salt you had on your French fries this evening, are more toxic than iron HEDTA. So it's a non-toxic mode of action. So other unique features associated with Fiesta, other than its toxicity, it's zero odor. I mean, you can stick your nose in a jug and take a good whiff, and there's nothing there. It kills a wide range of broadleaf weeds and works at temperatures, nice broad range of temperatures. Most herbicides really have limits around 85 degrees because that's when the plants shut down, right? It goes from photo respiration or photo transfer. No, it shuts down. Essentially what happens around 85 degrees, it's one of those photos, but really the stomata closes up to protect the plant from dehydrating. So it's not going to absorb any of the Fiesta at 85 plus degrees. Now it does work in cooler temperatures. Just like any other herbicide, it is going to work better in warmer temperatures than it does in cooler temperatures. But at the low end, it will work, and which will enable you to get out a little bit earlier. Okay. Now it works fast. You saw it. You see results very, very quickly, and that's my personal experience supports that. People and pets can re-enter area after the spray dries. Now I just been explaining all up until this point how non-toxic Fiesta is. And this kind of goes against the grain on that comment, but it's really that bullet on people and pets re-entering has nothing to do with toxicity. It's just because it's blood red in color, iron based, and so that's for staining purposes. That being said, I just would like to note here, and I don't do it. I just realized in this presentation that there is the potential for Fiesta to stain hardscapes or fences if you overspray. Now it's not going to stain if you can rinse it off quickly before it dries. It could stain if you have more porous concrete or porous wood fences, right? If you get that absorption into the hardscape or the fence.
And that answers one of the questions. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good. So there is the potential there. So you do have to be careful on that note. You can apply to turf a week after emergence, and you can reseed the next day. That flexibility really provides an opportunity to use Fiesta in areas where you're going to want to reseed throughout the season, and whether it's sports fields or even in the fall application of Fiesta. This will not prohibit you from undergoing your normal aeration and fall seeding programs. You can still do a fall broadleaf weed application and not affect your typical fall program. So this gives you an idea real quick on what you can anticipate. This is Ohio State University. On the left, you have no application. On the right, you have 2 applications of Fiesta, but this gives you an idea of what you can anticipate, right? It's a little bit broader scale of what that time-lapse video showed us. Shows you what happens to the, shows you what happens to the weeds when they die. You'd see the black in there. This looks like it's mostly clover, probably 90% clover, 90% clover. So there is a little bit of green up there. You can see that plants, you do use Fiesta, you are going to see some green up with the use of Fiesta. The level of that green up will depend on the nutrition, the fertility program in that turf anyway. If you have a good fertility program, you're not going to see any checkerboard effect potentially, or cheetah spots effect with the spot treatment of Fiesta. In lawns with inadequate fertility programs, then yes, you will see more of a difference in color. But all of that difference in color will go away in about a week. Plants use iron very effectively and very efficiently, so that'll go away in about a week. Both that blackness and both the greenness will go away in about a week. Now, I do think that greenness is a little exacerbated by the lack of the weed population in this particular picture, because they are a little bit lighter in color, but nonetheless, it does show you what's going on there. This is my yard right next to my driveway. So this is just oxalis, just show you how quickly it does work. Real fun to use. It's a fun product to use. I kind of attribute it to, and this is good, this is timely, with like using TurboTax. TurboTax almost makes doing taxes fun, almost. But, and
that depends if you owe or not.
Yeah, fair enough. But still, you got to get it done, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, Fiesta is kind of that way for me. It's fun to use because it works so quickly. And it works. Okay, so there's a lot of information here. I don't want to see the whites of anybody's eyeballs, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But what I want to show you is that we do have data from Rutgers over 2 years. Last year's data, 2020, they had some obvious challenges. Still looking for a report on that, and it's not going to be as sophisticated for last year as these 2 years are. But what I want you just to see is that we have data to support the pre-emerge control of crabgrass. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. And trust me, you're going to have my information at the end of this. If you don't already have it, you're going to have Barry's information. You obviously have his. If you have more questions or want to go through these data, I'm more than happy to do that for however long it takes with you guys individually. But really what we're looking at here is, if you compare the 2 black arrows, you're looking at 3 apps of corn gluten versus 3 apps of Fiesta. Better control with Fiesta. And even under the red arrow, where you have 1 application of Fiesta, you're getting better control of smooth crabgrass than 3 apps of corn gluten. That's what 2018 data shows. In 2019, we have very similar results. The only reason what we did change in 2019 is the timing of the application. Okay, so now we're going to go through what we learned during those two years of data, which is quite a bit. Now, I should note that when we went into Rutgers to go through this, Matt and Dan are just fantastic, and they have great experience with Fiesta over time. Is that we were just looking to prove what we saw in the greenhouse, right, and in the lab. So which it did. So here are the takeaways. Keeping it simple. Just keeping it simple works a lot better than corn gluten. We're receiving better efficacy on smooth crabgrass early post than pre-emerge, than true pre-emerge. Now, we could argue and have fun with it that there really is no such thing as a true pre-emergent product. Even your traditional synthetic products, those, I gotta let Augie in. Even those, even traditional pre-emergent products, they create a barrier on the soil, right? So that seed is still emerging, and then it stops at the soil level. So I really want to say, I don't want to use that term pre-emerge loosely when it comes to Fiesta. So I am going to call it early post-emergent control of smooth crabgrass, okay? Later application provides better efficacy. And I should probably clarify that bullet there, in that it's really that timing is so important, right? Because of the stage at which it works. Because when we get beyond the 2-leaf stage, and I know that's a tight window, I get it. I know, I get it, but it is what it is. And that's what I want to portray here. But really what is important is that after the 2-leaf stage, it's good. The level of efficacy is going to go way down. And what we do want to see that there is a rate response, and that's a good thing. More Fiesta is better. I know it's not always certain, that's not always the case, but certainly with the use of Fiesta, this confirms research across the board from any research that's ever been done, that there is a rate response, that more Fiesta is better when you can get out there. Okay, 2 applications are better. 1, that's kind of a sub bullet of just that there is a rate response, or that, yeah, there is a rate response, and that 2 applications are better. 1. The interval is 2 to 4 weeks, but depends on weed pressure, okay? The 2 applications is going to provide you a little bit of a, if obviously if the customer is willing, is going to give you a little bit of an insurance policy on control, okay? This is not uncommon in the pre-emergent world, right? 2 applications are better than 1. 2 to 4 weeks depends on, but it does depend on weed pressure too. Crabgrass control, in the end, is another great marketing claim for Fiesta, okay? Now, there is, if what I see this as, and I'm going to get to it a little bit, is kind of an application, a program recommendation moving forward based on the data we saw at Rutgers. But really, it enables Fiesta's ability to get more bang for the buck. Really, is what it comes down to. Get more bang for your buck. And I'm going to go through that too. Where's the rubber meet the road on using Fiesta in a program for you guys? And really, Fiesta is the best option in Montgomery County. We saw this last year already. We had great feedback from folks that used it out there. And everything went really, really, really smooth. Okay, real quick too, we get a lot of questions on, should I add a surfactant to Fiesta? Does it improve efficacy? And we don't make any recommendations on the label because there are so many surfactants. But the answer is yes, it does improve efficacy. Okay. In this particular case, we used preservative A was a non-ionic surfactant, a high quality non-ionic surfactant, and preservative and B was a silicone-based surfactant. So what you're going to see on average, about 10% better efficacy on harder to control weeds. Okay. What I just want to temper that with is that you have to be careful. More surfactant is not better because you will run into the risk of reducing selectivity. Okay, there is the potential that you're going to run the risk of phyto to your turf grass if you use too much. So just be careful. You can see that's 0.25%. I'm sorry, I'm losing. I think it's want to say it's about a ½ ounce per 100 gallons. And I think that passes the Lapse test for most folks on those labels. That's a general rule.
Yeah, so Eric, on that note, we recommend yucca as a non-ionic surfactant.
Sure.
There's one drawback though, is basically when you mix, you're only going to use 1 ounce of yucca with 100 gallons.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, when you're doing broadcast applications, that's a great thing. It works well and it costs you next to nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Bring the eyedropper.
For spot treatments, you need an eyedropper, yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the Fiesta label, which now is the latest Fiesta label. Any Fiesta you buy from here on out will have the new label on it. It should. that has the pre-emergent application use directions on it. So it's a legal application right now. But it can be confusing, and I get that. And it's been confusing since day one, and it's not gotten any better. Germans are not great label creators. So for targeted application, and I'd like to change spot treatment or spot applications to targeted applications. I think it makes a lot more sense from the standpoint of not just going out and spraying just a weed or a single dandelion, but looking at areas, because usually we're looking at areas where weed pressure is more prevalent. And that's usually based on soil conditions rather than, the wind dropping, a dandelion seed and it growing from there. So targeted application, I think, is a better term. Either way, that's personal opinion. You dilute 5 ounces per gallon of water, and then you spray that solution to the point of runoff. Okay. And then there's your broadcast application. Here's that same dilution rate, 5 ounces per gallon. Now you're going to spray that solution at 2.5 gallons to 5 gallons per thousand. So that works out to 12.5 ounces to 25 ounces of Fiesta per thousand. Okay. If you're looking at it from say, what does a gallon cover? At that 2.5 gallon rate, a gallon will cover 10,000 square feet, a gallon of Fiesta. At that 5 gallon rate, a gallon of Fiesta will cover 5,000 square feet. Okay. So based on the data, based on efficacy, based on timing, this is what I came up with as an application suggestion, right? This is all going to be, right, all other things considered equal, right? Which never is the case. But this is a good place to start with. And I haven't got any pushback on this yet. Nothing major, but clearly because there's nothing written in stone. That's why. So round one, around April run, you're going to do a targeted application or spot treatment for broadleaf weeds at that 5 ounces per gallon dilution rate, spray to point of runoff. Okay. Round two, when we go back and look at the timing of when Fiesta works best for crabgrass control, for smooth crabgrass or early post smooth crabgrass. Let's do a blanket application around May 1 or a little bit thereafter, right? So obviously all depends on the weather. So we're looking at that 12.5 ounces per thousand rate in 2.5 gallons of water, 12.5 ounces in 2.5 gallons of water per thousand, with a heavier dose in areas more prone to crabgrass. Now, you guys all know what those areas are going to be look like. It's going to be in areas where it's, soil's more compacted. It's going to be in the perimeter areas next to the driveway or next to the street or the sidewalk, right? After that, as you go to the property, you can do a targeted application. You keep a backpack of Fiesta in the truck and go then just do a targeted application as needed, because there are going to be dandelions that pop up here and there. There might be a little small patch of clover that's going to pop up here and there. Because again, as I stated earlier, Fiesta is not a silver bullet. It's not going to control all the weeds 100% of the time. So, there is possible that you will have to do targeted application. And then we really do suggest a fall application to reduce broadleaf weed pressure as part of a program. Okay, as part of a program, if you're going to be going into these
Uh-oh, Eric, we're losing you.
Zoom.
Oh, man, Eric.
I guess he froze.
Yeah.
Maybe he took too big a dose of Fiesta.
It was probably the yucca.
Yeah, because he's not showing any stains on them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, man. Eric, if you can hear me, why don't you log out and log back in?
too much internet traffic is what's causing a lot of these problems.
There he is. He's got to unmute.
Yep.
Yeah. There we
Sorry
go.
about that. My VPN got in the way. Where did I lose you?
When you
Um,
stop talking,
yeah. You were talking
Give me my
about,
screen back.
you were talking about treating the areas along the driveway.
Oh,
at
perfect.
Different rates.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Carl. Can you give me my screen back there, Barry?
you got it.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Carl, for that. We're not going
problem.
to start over, don't worry. That'd be painful. Oh, here we go. Yeah,
Yep.
okay, so we're right around here in the perimeter. Targeted application, I don't know if I made it this far, but throughout is not necessarily going to be, may or may not be necessary after that round 2. Did I get through the round 2 application?
Yeah, you were talking about the fall app.
Oh,
Right.
perfect. Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Thank you, Carl. So the fall application to reduce, it's fall application in a program for broadleaf weed control has shown to reduce weed pressure. And this is for these properties that you're going to be hitting year after year after year. Okay.
So Eric, that's new to me because in the past, both Matt at Rutgers and
Dan.
what's his, at Cornell,
Oh, Rossi.
yeah, Rossi, they were saying the fall applications are most effective. So this is an update for me.
That fall applications are not effective.
No, that they are most effective.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying that fall application to reduce broadleaf weed pressure is important.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm
One,
suggesting,
2, or what?
sorry,
How many applications in the fall?
1.
Okay.
1. It will reduce weed pressure throughout the winter and definitely in the spring. So the benefits of this program won't affect the end law in New Jersey, so you're still able to run your typical fertility program throughout. It's not going to affect that. You're going to have one less trip across the lawn because you're able to do your broadleaf weed control and your pre-emergent crabgrass control early post in one application in that early May timeframe. Okay, definitely makes it more cost effective. I mean, you guys are still going to have to put pencil to paper to figure that out just to make you comfortable with it. But once you look at it, I think for those customers that desire a lawn care program with softer chemistry products, or even those guys that you're using corn gluten with now, then this is another option. Okay. And you're also in that round 2, especially, you're going to get a nice green up benefit with that blanket application. So you get pre-emerge, early post crabgrass, post-emergent broadleaf weed control in one application. Okay. So here it kind of comes down to that benefits of a fall application in a program. And yes, I agree with Matt 100%. I agree with Frank 100%. Top killing weeds in the fall makes them more susceptible to winter kill and or spring application of herbicides. They're just going to be more likely to die. They're weaker. If you make that weed weaker in the fall, it's not going to be healthy enough and able to move all of its nutrients down into its root system to make it stronger, to make it through the winter, right? That just makes sense. And that's the way it is. And because Fiesta has good activity at cooler temperatures, it's going to enable you to do that. All right. And it's like I said, way early on, it's flexibility with being able to apply 1 week after turf emerges or the day after you seed. Then it makes it more, it won't affect your fall overseeding programs and aeration programs. And actually, in many areas, Fiesta is already part of an effective fall program. This is mostly in Canada, it's mostly Southern Ontario and other areas where there are significant legislative restrictions for the use of pesticides for cosmetic purposes. So just to summarize, post-emergent broadleaf weed control and pre-emergent or early post control of smooth crabgrass in one application. It's selective, kills weeds, not turf. Allowed for use in Montgomery County. They've gone through, they've done their homework. They realize that Fiesta is a non-toxic, efficacious alternative to synthetic products. You know, these, especially up in Canada, I hate to revert to that so much, but that's where we have the experience, where we have years and years and years and years of legislative restrictions. And, you know, once they figure it out, Fiesta, they can do, you can do it. And it's guys like you that are on this call that are willing to do their homework and understand what it does and what, not just Fiesta, but other products and programs, what they do and what they can't do. And you convey that experience and knowledge to your customers, and you win, right? And so those people, those folks like you that take the time to go through it are in a better position than anybody else. You're still ahead of the curve in all of this. Because these legislative restrictions are not going to go away. They're only going to grow. There's my contact information. And now I'd love to get some questions that are out there.
So we got quite a few of them here. I'll
Oh,
just
excellent.
bring them up. So let's get started. While I'm going through this, I do have another comment to make. We talked about yucca as a surfactant, and you and I have talked privately a little bit about using fluvic acid.
Yeah. Oh,
to help
good. Yeah.
to bring it into fluvic acid. For those who don't know, it's an organic compound with very small molecules that actually penetrates the leaf surface and goes inside of it, and it is able to bring other things in with it. So that was my question. Have you had any experience using that with Fiesta?
Yeah, that's a great, thank you for bringing that up, Barry. Very great question. So yeah, we would support putting Fiesta out with that application, along with that application, with any liquid fertilizer. Because what that's going to do, it's going to enhance the absorption of Fiesta into the plant, because not only is, you know, when you do a broadcast application of any liquid herbicide, it's going to enhance the growth of everything, right, including the weeds. So when you enhance the growth of those weeds, you enhance the absorption, you enhance the absorption of Fiesta, which is going to lead to even more efficacy, along with, so you can tank mix it. I guess the long and short of it is you can tank mix it, and I would totally support that application.
Yeah. Okay. So Anthony at the beginning had good questions. I think you answered, but let's go over it again. How many ounces per thousand was the mix rate?
Okay, so it's going to be broadcast. It's going to be 12.5 ounces in 2.5 gallons of water. 12.5 ounces and 2.5 gallons of water per thousand. That's on the low end. Okay, this is all dependent upon how weedy your turf grass is. You know, the quality of the lawn, the quality of the turf in the first place. You can go up to 5 gallons. You can go up to 10, but it's not 10 gallons per thousand. It's not practical. But if you look at the dilution rate of 5 ounces per gallon, and spraying the solution at 2.5 gallons per thousand, it's a simple 5 ounces times 2.5 is 12.5 ounces per gallon or per thousand.
Right, and the label is up on our website, so you can always go there and take a look at it.
Yeah, and you know what? Trust me, I've had to put pen to paper a lot of times going through, 100-gallon tanks. I got a 100-gallon tank, Eric. How much Fiesta should I put in it? So we just walk through it, and I'd be more than happy to do that with you.
All right, thank you. Now on moss, how many applications? Yeah, I've been surprising a lot of people by saying it's effective on moss, and it is. So how often can you use it per season?
There's not a limit on the number of times you can use it per season.
Okay.
Now, mind you, if you have moss growing in an area, grass is not likely going to grow there.
Right.
So there's probably some other things you might want to work on other than killing the moss. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. You got to make the local environment more conducive for turf or something else rather than moss.
Right, but it will, and it will definitely kill moss and turf. I do have a cool picture of that, but but it will kill moss in turf. and not affect the turf.
Right. And on the other hand, Rick McCoy, I don't know if he's still on or not, but he specializes in moss gardens, so he doesn't want to use Fiesta there.
No, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Let's see. And Anthony had asked, and I think you answered this one too, but let's go over again. When's the best time for pre-emergent?
Yeah, so we're looking at, for pre-emergent, we're looking at 60 degrees ish, 55 to 60 degrees for a few days in a row, soil temperature.
Okay, that was my next question. Soil temp, not air temp.
Right, soil temperature, which is going to be probably early May for you guys, if you're in Jersey. You know, for me, I'm in Maryland, it's going to be a little bit earlier. It depends a little bit on where you are. It depends on what happens from here between now and May too.
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, 55 to 60 degrees for a few days.
Okay. Pretty much like any pre-emergent.
Yes, but keep in mind, we're looking at less than 2-leaf stage, at or less than 2-leaf stage.
Okay.
Not 2-tiller, 2-leaf.
Do you want to clarify that?
I do, sure. Right, if anybody just Google 2-leaf or tiller/leaf stage on Google and look at the pictures, 2-tiller is a much hardier crabgrass plant than 2-leaf.
Yeah. John said, you mentioned some stomata being closed as a reason for lack of efficacy.
Yeah.
Does this mean it's more active during daylight hours than nighttime hours?
Yes, that's a fair assumption. Yes.
Right.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
John, are you out applying at nighttime at like 2 o'clock in the morning? Are you one of those guys?
No, I teach soil plant air continuum for the IA, and it's just one of the things we deal with.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah,
Good question.
It's a great question.
Yeah, totally. Thank you.
I do have a headlight I put on my cap when I'm out. Anthony asked about mixing with another product like Weed Shield with Fiesta, and we do carry Branch Creek's Weed Shield. What I found is the two of them work well together. If you're going to use one product one product alone, I think Fiesta works better on its own.
Yeah.
than Weed
And
Shield
you
does.
said Mike is going to be with you next week, so he can probably speak. He's got more experience with those two together than I do.
Right. And John, again, you asked the best questions.
I try, baby, I try.
Well, we'll try and give you good answers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So does excessive rain or irrigation play a role during the season and for over winter fall applications as in leaching?
Okay, so no on the leaching. Again, it's just iron. We've never had a problem with leaching or accumulation with Fiesta. Never had an issue. Now, with a lot of rain, that is a good question. There's been a couple instances where one in Minnesota and one in Southern Ontario, where we are getting some orange looking turf, and we're not 100% sure why. We think it could be thatch staining.
Great job, Jeff, comma, a lot of work, exclamation point. Very much appreciated, exclamation point.
So there isn't a minor issue. I think that if we do have significant rainfall, we have seen a couple issues where, again, we're seeing orange turf and we can't really quite figure it out. I think it's probably it's a disease, unable to identify it at this point. We just noticed it last year because, if you recall, we had a lot of rain last year in the region. So generally speaking, it's not an issue, but I'm not going to say it's never an issue with too much rainfall. But from an efficacy standpoint, it's just like anything else. As soon as Fiesta's dry, it's done working. I think there's a 3-hour rain fastness claim on the label. So I would just adhere to that. But usually it's much quicker than that. Dry is much quicker than that.
Okay. Go ahead.
Is that okay? Did that answer your question, John?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Good.
And we have another question from John. It's this one I just answered to somebody else a week or so ago. So is it effective on moss if it's applicable to roofs? In other words, a roof moss removal marketing.
So yes, but I would not use Fiesta on a roof. Because of the potential, because it's blood red. There are other non-selectives that are probably better for that use pattern.
Yeah. And Rick spoke up. He says he's still here. Don't kill the moss. I warned you. And the other question was, can you lower the Fiesta rate by adding fulvic acid?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't have enough experience with adding it with fulvic acid. I would suggest going with the lower rate. Now, this bag, I would suggest going with the 12.5 ounces per 1,000 rate and go down from there. Again, depending on what the quality of the turf is in the first place. Now, that leads to another point, though, that I hadn't thought of bringing up until that question. And so I appreciate that, is that we do have experience and we do have data to support an 8% application, an 8% dilution rate. Okay. That is, guys don't want to haul around this much water, and we get that. So this rate that you see here on the screen is a 4% solution. It's a 4% dilution rate. 5 ounces in a gallon of water is 4% dilution. Okay. 12.5 ounces in 2.5 gallons of water is a 4% solution. I'm okay with going up to an 8% solution. That is going out with the same amount of Fiesta in half that water. Okay. Remember though, coverage is important, right? You still have to make sure that applicator understands that, right? That coverage is important. This Fiesta doesn't move. It's only going to hurt the tissue it hits. Okay. So going out at a lower volume will requires a better applicator, a more aware applicator. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but you know what I'm getting at. So I'm okay with you guys going out at 8% solution in the end, if you want to roll with that.
Okay. Next question from Ed. What's the high end temperature that you can apply at?
Yeah, we're going at 85. We're going to stick with 85 degrees. Once you get over that, you're going to run into, again, the plant shutting down, and also you're going to run into a potential for phyto on the turf.
Okay. John, again, he asks, is orange turf a fungal issue? And I don't think you talked about fungus control, did you?
Well, it kind of gets to, no, I didn't, but I think this gets to the question and my response is with respect to excessive rainfall and the use of Fiesta. I can talk to you more offline about that, John, if you want to give me a call. I do have some data. I do have some pictures that I can share with you, of course.
That would be great. Thanks.
We can do that offline. Just give me a call.
I'll call you right after we finish.
Deal.
Anthony's asking if 1 gallon does 1,000 square foot, then use 12.5 or 25 ounces.
So that's at that 12.5 ounce rate per 1,000, that gallon will cover 10,000 square feet.
Okay, that is the last question I have here.
And it's 8 o'clock.
Amazing.
Wow.
You guys are good.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh crap, here's another one.
Okay.
So Ed's asking about a natural fungicide for grass. Define natural.
Yeah, well, Fiesta
Yes.
does have, is labeled for fungicide, or for pink mold,
Right.
snow mold, and rust, I believe.
Right. And I'll just add to that, another product that we handle is an EPA exempt fungicide. So contact me about that.
There you go.
Come on, guys, we want more questions.
Awesome.
Okay, going once,
If you-
twice. Oh,
Oh, hang on, there's my, I just want to share this with you guys. Anybody needs it? Is my
Right.
contact information if you need
Yeah.
it.
yeah, while you're doing that, Rick McCoy says, Eric and Barry, great info, thanks, gotta jump. And Ed says, will do, thank you. So I need all you attendees to do something for me. Send me an email confirming that you attended the meeting tonight. And then I will send you the coupon code so you can get $25 off on a case of Fiesta. Fair deal?
Right.
Okay.
Thanks, Barry.
I appreciate all you guys joining up. I hope you learned something, and any way we can help you, me, Eric, we're always at your disposal. So,
Yeah.
oh, wait
Thank
a
you
minute.
very much, Barry, for pulling this together, man.
Somebody just chatted something. Oh, just good info. Okay, great.
Hey,
Thanks,
thanks,
everyone.
Barry. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you all.
Very good. Thank you.